This is the Inquisitive Minds Podcast.
Hi, thanks for tuning into the Inquisitive Minds Podcast. I'm your host, and over the last month, I've been called alt-right and a libtard. I just like to refer to myself as Johnny Smith. With me today, I have two special guests. Born and raised in Harlem, New York, he grew up with a mother that experienced visions and a family that practiced Santeria. The paranormal experiences began at 3 years old, and today he is a practicing Satanist, Matthew L. Gandy. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
And my other guest is a local comedian, entertainer, and quoted as saying, "Sure ain't afraid of no ghost." Dale Miller, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Good, man.
Okay, that's good to hear. I'm excited to have you on some interesting paranormal experiences today. I guess we'll start with you, Dale. You got something interesting to tell us about where you grew up?
Yeah, no, so I'm not originally from Pittsburgh. I moved down here about 10 years ago. But I grew up in Jamestown, Pennsylvania. It's about right between Erie and Pittsburgh. And
I've been through there. Shout out to the guys at Karate Sleepover out there.
Yeah. We did so there was goodness, I'm losing my mind here. Back when I was growing up, I often stayed over with my grandparents.
Okay.
And the first night that I actually stayed over there, I went downstairs. I was watching just some TV. And I saw a man in a bowler cap sitting on our sun porch. And I'm like, wait a minute, no, this ain't right. And I got up and I went out. There was nothing there.
About how old were you?
I had to have been about maybe like 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this was like early. And then I was sitting down having breakfast with my sister. And my sister ends up saying there was a woman sitting at the end of her bed about the same time that I saw this man downstairs. We found pictures of people that lived in the house formerly. This was an older house. It was dated back to the 1800s. And man and a woman, as we described them in the pictures.
Now, was there any type of family history haunting there?
We don't know. That was my grandparents bought the place and ended up moving out, a couple years later. But I mean, as far as we can guess, that would be the resident there was the previous owner.
So that was an early foray into the paranormal. Okay, Matthew, you grew up in Harlem, New York.
I did.
You said you started experiencing things when you were 3. You want to tell us a little bit more about where you grew up and how you grew up?
So, like I said, I was born and raised in Harlem, and down in East Harlem, there was one specific building that apparently had history of theft, and apparently, like at that time, my very first instant was my mother told me that I had little spirits playing with me because I was one day playing with it in my room, and my mom heard me yell, "Give me my toy back." So she came up and looked in my room and saw 2 little shadows about kid size next to me. From then on, I had those friends till I was about 7 years old.
Now, you saw these children as well?
Yes. At 3 years old, I did not remember.
Okay.
But like I said, I've had them around me since I was about 7.
Okay.
And so I do actually remember going to school with them and even just kind of sitting talking with them.
Wow, that is fascinating. Dale, so after you had that experience, was there anything else growing up that you found?
I mean, obviously, as you grow up and things go on, you kind of hear stories and whisperings and everything like that. And, of course, where I grew up, there was this big structure sat in the center of town called the Gibson House, or the Mark Twain Manor, as everybody liked to nickname it.
Okay.
Mark Twain actually never lived there. He stayed over as a guest of the Gibsons, but never actually lived there.
That's the worst claim to fame.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, check out our McDonald's. Bill Cosby ate here once. He had 3 McNuggets. Like, what the fuck? Now it's the Bill Cosby McDonald's?
Right.
I knew that's a terrible person to pick after I said it, but he was the first famous person that came to mind. But,
Right.
you know, that's an absurd claim to fame. Hey, Mark Twain slept here one time.
Right. But the other thing that was kind of notorious about that place, too, was it was part of the Underground Railroad. So there were often rumblings of people that had lived in that house, and one of my friends actually growing up lived there and talked about how there was nights where he'd wake up and somebody was throwing a glass across the room.
Oh, an actual glass?
Yeah. And then, so I got a little bit more curious and corroborated some stories, and then I actually went in with a friend of mine one day. This would have been several years later, probably when I was, I want to say 22 or so, and went in, crystal clear day, beautiful day, asked the owners of the property if we could go ahead and just take a tour of it because we kind of heard everything, and they're like, oh, yeah, no, we hear it all the time. Come on in, take a look. And so there's a set of stairs that lead up to the attic, and then there's an overlook that you can see. There's like little windows, and you can see all around you. And what was interesting, it was a crystal clear day, and I felt something wet drip on the back of my neck. And then I heard, and I was like, hi.
Yeah.
Can I help you?
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
Matthew. You know what? Matthew's my brother. I live with him, and I never call him that. I call him Goat. So that's what I'm going to call him for the rest of this episode, not to confuse you guys.
I actually would prefer that because it sounds weird you calling me Matthew.
It's definitely odd. Let's just go with it.
Right.
So, Goat, growing up, your mother experienced visions. You said she saw those little spirits with you. Could you elaborate more on that?
So my mother's always had this gift of seeing ghost spirits. Even at one point, she has claimed that she's seen Jesus Christ himself.
Okay. Does she take DMT?
Oh, I wish.
You should try DMT.
But and part of that also became why she was so into Santeria.
Okay.
She believed very much that if you can basically have these good spirits on your side because you're a good person and you ask them to do favors for you, you know, they will help you, but as long as you use it good.
Okay. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so for her entire life, as she tells me stories, that she's seen spirits and paranormal since she was a kid.
Can you touch a little bit more on what Santeria is specifically?
So Santeria, it's basically it's a form of witchcraft, except that this one is used by, I guess, good-hearted saints. So what they tend to do is they do a lot of cleansing like most, but they do things a little differently. They do the sage. That's pretty much normal. But for instance, if you want to keep bad spirits from coming into your house while you sleep, they take a bowl, put ice in it, and leave it at the front door, pour pneumonia on it, and let it sit there the entire night. And they do some kind of like prayer. And then supposedly that keeps the bad spirits out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's weird.
It's interesting. I'll say that. Dale, now, was any of your family, immediate family growing up, what was their thoughts on paranormal stuff, entities, if it ever came up in conversation?
Well, I would say, you know, like, if you looked at my immediate family, like my mom, my dad, and my sister, and all them, my mom and my sister were big into, like, you know, Stephen King and the horror genre and everything like that to begin with. So this just kind of falls in line with everything, and so obviously it piques their interest. My dad was kind of just always, like, kind of dismissive of it.
Okay.
So, and then me, like, I just always have had a penchant for picking up kind of, like, physical energies off of different people, kind of being an empath. And then it just kind of progressed further and further when, you know, you're starting to deal with going into haunted places, picking up and feeling, you know, a spirit in the room or somebody trying to communicate, whether that's verbally, inverbally, whatever.
You want to tell us about maybe an experience when it was, I guess, early on and maybe a bit overwhelming for you?
So I was actually out walking in the park one day with a friend of mine late at night, and we were just having a conversation, and everything was going fine. And all of a sudden, I just stopped, literally just stopped dead in my tracks. And she looked at me. She goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm sitting there going, "We got to get out of here. This isn't right." And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Somebody is watching us, literally watching us." And obviously, you can tell if somebody's there. There's flashlights and things like that, and it's well-lit area. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "There's nobody here." I'm like, "No, there's somebody here." And I had that physical manifestation of somebody grabbing my arm.
Oh,
and
so not only did you feel the presence, you had a physical contact.
Yeah.
Okay. So they grabbed your arm.
Yeah.
What's your reaction? What happens then?
Get the hell out. I literally, you see me. I'm a big dude.
Yeah.
I took off like I was Jerome Bettis. I just gone. See you, bye.
I know the feeling of that.
Okay. What did the person with you, how did they react to that?
They tried to keep up.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on video, that's hilarious. Well, Matt, since you can understand that feeling, I'm assuming you have a story to tell for as well.
So, yeah. When I was, like I said, from 3 to 7, I had those little ghosts. That was the only good one and the only spirit I had until I moved into a little more on a different street on the East Harlem.
Okay.
Apparently, this building was a hospital. So then
the building used to be a hospital?
Yeah, before it became like an apartment building, back in the days it was a hospital.
Oh man, those are always kind of creepy.
Ooh,
I don't like a hospital being repurposed for anything. It's very weird to me.
So when I was about 7 years old, I was playing with my friend and my cousin playing Monopoly. And
you sound like boring kids.
Yeah, we was. at least at that age.
I'm just playing.
But so I decided to go to my room for whatever reason. I don't remember. And as soon as I opened the door, before I even turned the lights on, I'd see something of a silhouette in front of my window. Okay, turn the light on, and it was just two shadow people standing there. I froze out of fear.
Okay. Okay.
And then the only reassurance was when I called everybody over, they all saw it.
Oh, they all. So there was a group of people that saw these shadow people with you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So after that, I just closed the door, calmed down, and just did my thing. I figured maybe it was a one-time thing.
Okay. I'm sorry. I have to stop you because I have many questions.
Okay.
So I understand you see the shadow people, you freeze.
Mm-hmm.
You call for people, they come. They see it too. I know that's not everybody's reaction because you very nonchalantly said, "Okay, just close the door and call it a day."
No,
I need to know what happened with these group of people, and how did you guys decide to say, "Let's get the fuck out of here"? Because I'm sure it wasn't. Well, guys, that's it for tonight.
So naturally, we was all freaked out, but my mom was used to this, so she figured out a way to calm everybody, and kind of discredit it since we were too young to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin and my friend went with it. I just closed the door and just thought, I know what I saw. And I said, I'm going to leave it alone for now.
That ammonia and ice wasn't working, huh?
Not this night.
Wow. How old were you?
I was 7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you see them that one time, or was there more incidents?
They tortured me for the better of 5 years.
Oh, so from 7 to 12?
Yeah.
Oh, my. This sounds horrifying.
Yep. They would just kind of, anytime, I never slept in that room. I slept in it twice, and both times they both grabbed my feet and tried to drag me out of bed. So I've never slept there. I've never been in. Once the sun goes down, I'm not in my own room. I slept in my mother's room.
For 5 years.
It got to a point where I never went in.
Oh.
Even during the daytime. I remember specifically one time me and my cousin, We was playing Super Smash Bros. On the GameCube. And all of a sudden, we heard this banging on the closet. The fuck was that? We look. Nothing was there. I even opened the closet to look, see maybe something fell. Nothing was there. All right. We just closed it. Went to playing games. All of a sudden, the closet door just swung open.
Oh.
And it was one of them was just there, standing at the front of the closet. My cousin and I jumped up, went towards the window, and then the other one appeared in front of the door, almost to seem like they were wanting to block us.
Okay.
And then, so me and my cousin was stuck. And as they were coming towards us, we just said, fuck it, and went right through.
Oh.
If the door was still closed, we probably would have went through that door. Like, we was terrified.
Now, have you ever looked at the history of that place? I said, you said it was a hospital, but specifically maybe that room. Was there anything there, or was it you personally? Or at least, how do you feel about it?
I do believe there were some kind of entities because of the hospital. I understand that my floor was like the mental ward.
Oh, that's always so much fun, isn't it?
So, but I believe most of the hauntings is because I feel like I am sensitive to them.
Okay.
And they always seem to direct towards me. But unfortunately, most of them has always been negative.
If that doesn't sound like a plot for a movie, this old abandoned hospital gets turned into an apartment complex, and holy shit, what's that movie thing? IFC? That's one of those movies right there. No, we don't know no actors except Willem Dafoe as a janitor or some shit. Wow. Dale, shadow people, you got anything?
I don't got anything with necessarily like shadow people or anything like that. A lot of the times, the manifestations when I've come across them or anything like an entity like that, it's been primarily non-visual. Aside from, like when I was again touring the manor and heard the knock shortly after. When we left, my friend was like, something feels weird, and saw scratch marks and visual cues and things like that. And so then, of course, we got curious and investigated further and found out that there is an entity that was there. The legend goes that her name is Victoria, and obviously is not very friendly.
Okay.
When you encroach in her space. So we obviously came across her.
Okay. So. And that's what you used to explain it. Okay. I recently went on a mini paranormal investigation myself up in Oakland Cemetery in Warren, PA. I went October 3rd. There was 4 other people with me in my party. And the reason we picked this location is because one of the members of our party is very new to these experiences, and the first instance he had was at that cemetery. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to go back. We were walking around just kind of exploring. It was middle of the night, pitch black. I will say, from what I saw, it was lovely. I get fascinated by old gravestones, and there was some people that were born in the 1700s that are buried there. It's just, to me, so interesting. But the most compelling bit of evidence we got for something being there is we were walking, and I put the pictures up on Facebook already. We were walking, and one of the members of our party says, "Oh, stop, guys, my back feels like it's on fire." So we checked his back, obviously, and there's very large scratches on his back. I didn't measure them, but you can tell from the picture, at least 15 inches. He's got a wide back. It's not a shot. It's just, we got 2 EVPs. I don't see. That's the group consensus, and me personally, they're not as clear as I would like them to be. But I don't remember what the one said. The other one, supposedly, I asked a question, and it said "yep." But again, that's an easy word that can be made out of a sound. So
Right.
for me, they're not clear enough. But we did also use a spirit box. Tried to communicate with the dead. And, you know, I will say, guys, no matter if you think this is real or not, it's fun. You know, so take it for what you want it. I know I don't know everything, so it is what it is. But when we used the spirit box, we had some very intelligent responses. I like to take a direct approach. You know, so at one point, I said something to the effect of, if we want to communicate, but if you don't have anything to say, I'm turning the fucking box off. And immediately after I said that, a voice comes over the box and said, fuck you. So I turned the box off. Another member of our party turned on a spirit box, and we began communicating. And at one point, you know, something was said out of the box. Insignificant. I don't remember what it was. But me being a wiseacre, I cracked a joke. And after I cracked the joke, a voice came out of the box and said, do you want to try again? Or nice try. It said, nice try. Do you want to try again? I was like, okay. That's interesting. Things took a little bit darker of a turn as we were trying to talk more. And at one point, as I'm standing there, a voice just comes over and goes, wife. And, you know, if anybody knows me, knows that how that word could affect me. Mm-hmm. Obviously didn't let it. I found it was fascinating. But after that was said, about a second later, a more feminine voice came on and said, I'm so sorry. And I don't know, that was good enough for me, though. Yeah. I was like, all right, this was fascinating. It was definitely interesting. I took a bunch of photos outside of the scratches. We didn't catch anything weird, any orbs. I know, the thing is, I know investigators, and I like friends with Bigfoot people, and you'll see a picture of a forest, and they'll circle some nothing, and they'll be like, if you look closely, you can see Bigfoot. And it's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, right.
You know? So, you know, there was nothing that I caught on camera, but that was interesting. I just wanted to put that out there.
Right.
I wanted to elaborate a little more on that. I will be doing some more stuff in the future. I'm pretty loose about it, though. You know, I don't have any set plans. I just like to go out and have fun. If I experience something, I experience something. That was a good time, but I went out looking for it. You know, do you have a situation that found you? You said a lot of yours were more feelings.
Yeah. I don't know necessarily like that. I like any situation that I've ever been in where it's like kind of I sought it out.
Okay.
It just kind of happened organically. There was one though that I've been kind of curious about and been doing my research on, and eventually, you know, may go and investigate it further. And that's going to be the Hotel Conneaut up in Conneaut Lake.
Okay, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
I've heard story beyond story beyond story of this place. Okay, and the biggest one that comes out is that it was a bride and groom staying in 321, and let me check this again. 323 and 321. They hear a voice of a female that stayed in the room, and what happened apparently was this woman and man just got married. Lightning struck the hotel. Hotel caught fire. She died in the blaze.
Oh man, that's tragic.
So, yeah, it's tragic.
Terribly tragic.
It's tragic. And then just I've heard so much of different encounters, and like this is actually like this hotel that I'm talking about. They did a show on A&E about it, and I obviously want to go and kind of experience it for myself and see for myself and be like, you know. Because obviously, like you said, whenever you approach these situations, you kind of go in with a little bit of a skeptic's mind. You're like, I'm not exactly sure. I believe.
Not even that. You also are prepared.
Yeah.
You know, like you're going in with the possibility of, I could see this, I could not, whatever. Even if you're being cynical, as if to like, when you just happen to see something when you're not even, that scares the shit out of you. Or it has the potential to, but when you go in there, you're more, not necessarily combative, but mentally prepared.
Right, you're ready for that. So that's kind of like where I'm at with it, is that I would like to go. That would probably be if I was to seek anything out, it would be that one.
Okay. I was at the Eagle. It's up near Erie, the Eagle Hotel last night. And we walked around there quite a bit, and we didn't get a chance to do much. It was an impromptu, but it's a very fascinating town, and apparently it has a lot of history as well, from the Revolutionary War. Don't get mad at me if I'm misquoting it, if it's another goddamn war. I'm not. Dan's the war guy. I'm just fucking.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm the fun guy, supposedly. Like a fucking mushroom.
Yeah.
So, after these shadow people, when you were 12, and did they stop because you moved?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did another entity or experience pick up after that?
So yeah. At 12, we moved from the second floor to the first floor.
Oh.
The first floor was even more fun. That was a morgue.
Oh, Jesus Christ. God damn. That's, like, we're leaving the mental ward. All right. About fucking time. Where are we going? To the morgue. That's essentially how a lot of people left the mental ward as it is.
So,
She's hysterical.
So when I got there, one specific, actually there's two specific memories that come to mind on that floor. Is one of them, me and my cousin was on the computer, and we was actually looking up ghost videos and ghost pictures. So we go, and then we're looking, and then we hear a knocking on a window. Now, even though it's on the first floor, it is above high where nobody can't really just knock on the window.
Okay.
So we was wondering what the hell was that. We thought it was maybe a tree. So we just left it alone and continued watching, and then it happened again. I got up, looked. The tree was not nowhere near close enough, and nobody was there. It's like, that's strange. So I had bunk beds because I was living with my little brother.
Okay.
And the top had the security bar rail.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin's boyfriend at the time bought me some new shoes, so I threw them up there for now, behind the bar to make sure they wouldn't fall. All of a sudden, those shoes are flung right at us. Literally missed us from like an inch, just like that, and hit my dresser.
You and George Bush, huh?
So we ran, like, damn near through the door. We ran to the living room.
There seems to be a pattern here.
Yeah.
Why don't you come out clean and just say you don't fucking like doors?
They're the bane of my existence.
Always threatening. I'm gonna run through this fucking door. No. So you guys ran,
and we went to my mother and we told her what happened. She comes in. She does her little prayer thing, whatever, which I understand why she did all this, but that shit never worked because it kept seeing them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, these, either she wasn't strong enough at the time or these spirits was just outrageously strong. I don't know, but no matter what she did, it did not work. But then another time was I was asleep and I just woke up in the middle of the night, and at the time I didn't know, but now I know I had sleep paralysis, but I just froze and I couldn't move. At that point, I wasn't really scared. I was just like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
But then I like heard some humming, and it sounded like almost in a tune, and I heard it coming from the hallway up to my door. And once it got to my door, it stopped.
Oh.
So it's like,
did you go out to investigate?
No, I didn't have the time to, because I just stood there, watched for like 5 seconds, and all of a sudden this figure appeared, and eventually formed into this horrifying old lady looking thing. And like her skin was like almost pale gray, like it was just weird looking, terrifying. Red eyes, red beady eyes, just staring there, and I froze, looked at her. Before I could even scream, it ran, jumped, and put his hand on my mouth.
Oh, boy. This is a scene straight out of a horror movie.
So I'm standing here inches away from her, looking at her face, and she's just standing there growling at me, and I feel like she was trying to suffocate me, because I could not breathe anymore. Finally, I don't remember what it was. All of a sudden, she disappeared, and I took my breath of air, and I stayed up the whole night. I could not sleep. I closed my door. I left the lights on.
I mean, I can completely understand not sleeping.
Yeah, I thought she was trying to kill me.
Yeah, this is terrifying. I had no idea all of these stories. Wow. I want to take a minute, and if you're watching on the video, please check out my shirt. It's an Inquisitive Minds podcast shirt, but it's for breast cancer awareness, and it's October, time to talk about breast cancer awareness again, but it's actually a cause that's very near and dear to my heart. My mother suffered through breast cancer. Thank God she was able to beat it. Not everyone is so lucky. I actually have some close friends that are dealing with that battle right now, and I am donating 100% of the profits to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. They are actually the highest rated breast cancer organization in the United States. They were started in 1993. They're 100% transparent. It is a great company. 87 cents of every dollar goes directly to the program for the research. It's a nonprofit organization committed to, committed to take care of it. I don't know what the fuck I wrote down, guys. I'm only human. And prevention. They want to find a cure for breast cancer. They're great. Their website is bcrf.org. There's pants, leggings on there. There's shirts. They're on the Inquisitive Minds merch podcast store. The link will be in the episode. Please, it's a great organization for a great cause. Check it out. I also want to say the episode is sponsored by Tenacious Detail, your mobile detailing solutions. And right now, for the month of October, they're having spooky savings with 15% off any of their deluxe services, including the ceramic coating. And that's a $75 savings on that service alone. Check them out. They do great work. Back to the spooky shit, Dale.
Back to it.
Yeah, we got a little serious there, a little choked up for a moment.
Yeah.
But so this Conneaut Lake,
Yes.
House. This is the one you plan on going to.
It's the Conneaut Lake Hotel, or Hotel Conneaut is what they call it.
Hotel Conneaut.
Yeah.
Okay, and that'll be your first one that you're actually going to seek out?
Yeah, that'll be probably the first one I'll actually physically go out and seek out of my own volition.
Okay, now you mentioned you were a bit of an empath?
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate a little more on that? Can you explain to people what it is and then explain or talk about your experiences?
Okay, so basically, every time somebody talks about the hair on your neck staying back, staying straight up, sensing certain things, sensing certain energies, and sensing whether it's a good energy, bad energy, whatever the case may be. I have a tendency to read people and look into people and know whether they're a good person, bad person, whether they're exhibiting good energy, bad energy.
How do I check out, fucker?
You're good.
Boom.
All good, baby.
Hey, we just got endorsed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But a lot of times, too, you'll sense that, too, with spirits. There'll be certain energies in certain rooms where you go in and you're dealing with a spirit and you're talking to somebody and you know that they're not there to hurt you. They're there because they're lost.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, and our guest here elaborated to, there's bad energies, the ones that are wanting to hurt you, wanting to be that manifestation of coming up and attacking and seeking out kind of
with malicious intent,
an aggression. And oftentimes that'll be the ones like we allude to earlier that are, you go to the mental wards and things like that. And toward those places, those energies are going to be a little bit more on the bad side. You're going to pick up on that, and you're going to feel that kind of negative sense. And a lot of times I akin it to an anxiety attack.
Okay.
To where like you just you feel it and you want to get out.
Now, does
You want to get out of your own skin.
does this help you when it comes to people as well?
Yeah. A lot of times with having conversations and talking to people, it's easier for me to have a conversation with somebody and know that I'm in a good space and open up.
Okay.
A lot of times I'm that guy that sits in the corner of the room and just watches, just because I'm getting a sense for what the room is. I'm getting a sense for who's in there, what energy's in there, and then I'll go ahead and interject accordingly.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, Goat, after this entity felt like you tried to suffocate you, is it all misery from here on out? Is everything going haywire?
So yeah, I believe also one of the main reasons why I've had all negative experience with paranormal my entire life was because for most of my life I lived a negative life.
Okay.
So I believe that because of all the negative energy that I was bringing, it brought whatever negative energy within the house or the apartment completely stronger.
Okay.
So after this point, yeah, in this floor, I've had quite a few. I've heard chains. I've heard.
That to me is one of the scariest sounds, like chains
it is
in the distance.
It is, because it's just, I can't even explain it. When you hear it going off and you don't even know why, because you don't have no fucking chains in your house. Why are you hearing that?
Yeah. That's a good point. Most people just don't have chains laying around their house.
But then at one point, I've seen what to me looked like what people believe to be demons. Just me personally, I don't really believe in demons.
Okay. What's your thoughts on that?
So, I don't believe in angels or demons. I don't. What I believe is, as humans, when we pass on, something happens to us. Maybe like our soul, our conscience, something. We go somewhere else. I believe if you've had, I guess, a positive living lifestyle, or you are content with yourself, whatever the case may be, you move on to that better place. But if you have an evil soul, you stay on this earth tormented and tormenting others.
Okay. All right. That's fascinating. You know what? I didn't know we were going to take this turn. Dale, what's your thoughts on the afterlife, brother?
And that's actually very interesting that we mentioned that and we go in that kind of diatribe, because a lot of times anybody asks me about that, I always say the same thing, and it's the same response, is I believe that there is something more beyond this. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it goes, but I know that there is, because back when I was younger, I would always say that I remember watching a certain event. I watched Mount St. Helens erupt from my chair on an old RCA TV. Here's the thing. We owned a Sanyo.
Okay.
We didn't have a chair. And Mount St. Helens erupted about 10 years before I was born. So, but I remember every single vivid detail.
See, that's an interesting topic, is those past life visions that people mention like that, you know, the details the child wouldn't know and certain things like that. Did you have any more to elaborate on that? Did your family look into that at all?
The family didn't look into it. A lot of times whenever I tell people that that's what I experienced, they're like, oh, well, that's happened a couple of times. And there's been a couple of instances where it's happened within your lifetime. I'm like, yeah, but there's too many details for me to just sit there and just be like, oh, it happened maybe when I was a couple years older.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I see what you're saying. So, just for the record here, I don't know what happens after we die either, but I know I'm going to heaven, y'all. See you up there. So, when did it stop then? When did you decide, if you correlate how making poor decisions and living a negative life with seeing bad entities, when did you decide to make a change, and did that stop anything?
So, it did not stop until I moved completely out of my mother's house, which I was about 22.
Okay.
And that is because I've kind of shut myself out from that world. My family believes in something called the third eye, which I'm sure many people do. But what my family believes is some kind of spiritual third eye that allows us to be sensitive to these spiritual beings. And because I was having such a negative effect on them, or I was having such negative experiences, I decided to learn how to shut myself out.
From the experiences.
Right.
Okay.
So, till then, I have not seen them. I could still feel, like, I guess, energy.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as, like, seeing or hearing anything, I have not. Like, even up to now, I have not since I shut myself out.
Now, the third eye, some people think that's our pineal gland.
I've heard about that. I don't know much about that. I'm still learning about it. But I know it's somewhere in the middle of your forehead, which
Yeah.
like it's somewhere around there. But that is also where spiritually we believe it is at. It is in the middle of your forehead.
This theory I might chop up a little bit, and I don't know if I've mentioned it here, but in some obscure circles, it is believed the pineal gland is the third eye and what opens you up to, what is it, telekinesis? And we are originally from Mars. And when we came here, we were so advanced, we were able, telekinesis and all that. But eventually, I don't know what happened. The third eye got hardened. We got fucked up, destroyed, rebuilt society. Don't remember our origins. Something fascinating to think about. Something interesting to look into. Bunch of different theories out there. I don't like to discredit any of them just because they're fun, except for flat earthers. You guys are fucking stupid. That's another hill I will die on. Just like the moon landing. Flat earthers, you're fucking stupid.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Go jump off the fucking edge of this flat earth, you stupid piece of shit. Normally, I ask, you know what, I'll ask it anyways. I know you're not an entertainer, Goat, but where can the people find you?
I mean, I'm at Facebook. You can find me by my name, Matthew Organdy.
Matthew Lacelos. Okay. Instagram, anything like that?
I have Instagram. I don't really be on it.
Twitter, Tinder, anything?
No.
He's married. Sorry, ladies. Dale, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Dale Miller, stand-up comic. Also, too, you can find me on Instagram at EvilPenguin86 and on Twitter at HealByNature86.
Okay. Heal by Nature 86.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. You can find us at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. Check me out with Dan Brady on What in the History. You can catch me on the Smoked Out and Sold Out, or Smoked Out and Shot Out show on October 31st with the guys over there, Kev, You Play Too Much, Alok, Sean Parker, and quite a few other people. I know the show has Samantha Bentley, Dawn Arner. It's going to be a great show. From what I understand, it's smoker friendly and bring your own bottle. So have fun. It's going to be a blast. Check us out on Inquisitive Minds podcast, inquisitiveminds.com. Every week I tell you people, and yet every week someone comments and spells it fucking wrong. We're spelled a little bit differently. INQUIZATIVE. Minds, Inquisitive Minds at gmail.com. Guys, I'm still looking for your stories, your creepypasta. I'm looking to make bonus episodes. If you got a fascinating tale, something you can't explain, send it in to me. We'll talk. We'll get together. I'm also looking for someone potentially to come on the show, or at least talk to me anonymously, that was involved in some type of organized crime, maybe an ex-gang member or someone who will speak anonymously. I won't share any personal information. I think that'd be a fascinating topic for the show. Have them reach out, email, message, whatever. I think that's all for this week, folks. Tune in next week when we're joined by Brittany Alexis, back for the Mysterious People series, and she's going to be talking about D.B. Cooper. That should be fun. Thank you all for tuning in.